we do have a slightly controversial question from Insta. If Mary Earps picked up an injury, who would be your England goalkeeper? Now, this is a toughie because the England goalkeeper situation, the dynamic between the goalkeeper union this year is quite interesting, because obviously we've just seen that Sandy McIver picked up one international cap for England, but has now gone over to Scotland, probably to get more game time. Absolutely appreciate that she's sort of like a little bit way down the list in terms of priority for, goalkeeper stepping in. We've got Ellie Roebuck, who's not started a single game this season for Man City, who has been replaced at Man City by 19-year-old Khiara Keating, who has done an outstanding job for Man City, but no one really knows where Roebuck's gone. We saw her in the stands with Sue Campbell. Why? We do not know. There seems to be some kind of beef there going on with the goalkeeper union at that club. Khiara Keating's obviously stepped up into the Lionesses squad for the first time, making her debut, and rightly so. She's an incredibly young talent. She's still got a way to go, but in terms of like her confidence, absolutely outstanding. It's crazy that she's here. So in terms of really where we're at...
And then Hannah Hampton.
And then Hannah Hampton, who's had her own sort of controversial issues.
Backup keeper at Chelsea.
Backup keeper now at Chelsea, probably won't see potentially may not see a single minute of WSL action this season, depending on how Hayes wants to play her in cup games and things like that. I mean, Rach, who's your number two? It's
a great question, and it's a really tough question, because
tasty.
You might look at it and say, well, Khiara Keating is playing and is playing really well, so you would think should be playing the keeper that's playing. The other side of me thinks Hannah Hampton, yes, she's not getting game time, but she's training with a good portion of England's defenders regularly, and has been in the England setup before and has caps. So from a kind of, if suddenly Earps got injured and they needed to get a keeper on, it would probably be Hampton for that experience and for that relationship that she's probably already started to develop with those defenders, and has with some of those Chelsea defenders. But it is a tough one. It's like, we used to say we've got so many good keepers in England, and now you're like, oh God, not many of them are actually playing.
The Lionesses are kind of hoarding keepers, like Chelsea is hoarding keepers. I think my gut instinct is that it would be Ellie Roebuck in the number 2 position. I think the goalkeeper union between Mary Earps and Ellie Roebuck and Darren Ward, the England goalkeeper coach, has probably been the most long-standing. I think a lot of it would come down to what Darren has to say about how they've been training and the dynamic between them and where they're at mentally, because I think it would be tougher for Ellie to have stepped into quite a big game. Say for example it was the decider for the Olympic qualification. Ellie Roebuck, who hasn't started any WSL games, who probably feels a little bit on edge at the fact that she's not even making the team sheet for Man City, being thrown into a situation like that would be absolutely killer. I think, me personally, I would want to see Khiara Keating go in. I would. I think the girl thrives under being just chucked into, really high pressure situations from such a young age, and she's like, well, fuck it. And then she'll do like a Cruyff turn in the box for absolutely no reason. Or she'll hang on to the ball for like 45 seconds. And I'm like, you can't be doing these things, but also there's a resilience to her that I absolutely love. So I think you throw her into that and she would absolutely gung-ho go into it. As Ellie Roebuck, I think, would be slightly nervous. And I've seen her make a couple of flaps. So my gut is Ellie. What I'd like to see is Khiara. Sorry, Hannah. Sorry, Hans.
Well argued.
Thank you.